In today's video, our pussycat comes home. After manually converting our Japanese XKR, Jaguar has asked to take a look. What is ridiculously cool is the guys have put this on the ramp next to us. This is the Jaguar XKR, the one-of-one concept. This was Jaguar's manual XKR, the entire inspiration behind our project. So how does ours compare to theirs? Well, we're going to do two things today. We're going to get an expert that worked on these cars back in the day to have a look underneath and compare how we've both managed to accomplish this, and then also get a Cog Score from a technician here at the Jaguar Daimler Heritage Trust. So without further ado, let's introduce judge number one.
Yeah, no, I'm sturdy like a milli rocket. Skin clear, still look young, Andy Miller knockers. Money in my pocket, don't call me a money pocket. Engine get to rocket, it sound like a thunder rocket. Yeah, I still love my baby even when it's toxic. Crazy like she Britney, but no, she don't shade the noggin. No, Russell Wilson, way I get along, stay in the pocket. I get paid and do my dance like a touchdown. Yeah.
So Graham, you were an engineer back in the day, specifically on
That's
transmissions. Right. What did you kind of specialise in?
Well, we worked on automatics and manuals.
Okay.
So I started in the mid-80s working on XJS, a little bit of Series 3 with the old transmissions on that, and then moved into XJ40 and XK8 and all the cars that came after that. So
okay,
been involved with most of them.
Did you work on the XKRR, or was this?
This specific car I didn't, so this would have been a prototype shop that would have done that. But
yes.
The production cars I worked on, both XK and XKR. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's have a look underneath and tell me what's going on under here.
All right.
So Graham, it all looks quite similar to me, but point out what the differences are. What did Jaguar do here?
Okay, so what Jaguar have done here, they've taken a Tremec manual transmission, which would have been a production part at the time. So this is a production main case, if you like, of the Tremec. But what Jaguar had to do to create this car is they've taken an existing bell housing that would have bolted to the engine. They've cut it and welded it to an adapter plate, and then bolted that directly to the Tremec transmission. So I'm guessing maybe there's an existing input shaft in there rather than a brand new one. So they would have dictated the length of that to suit the input shaft and to fit the clutch in that's needed there.
So you think this is potentially the old Mercedes Autobox bell housing
It looks very much like it, yes.
And then this plate's just been whacked in there?
That's been made in our prototype machine shop, and the two parts welded together to give the length to fit the clutch and the clutch release mechanism inside that gap, yes.
So adapter plate, and then this is essentially a sort of Corvette gearbox they've put in here.
I would guess so, yes.
And then out the other end? What's
so
this here?
There's also a heavily modified tail case as well. So you can see where we've had to weld an adapter to the back of the Tremec transmission. And this is also heavily modified, probably made in our prototype shop, to pick up the existing Jaguar gearbox mount and cross member that bolts directly to the long gears.
So really the only thing I can see that's identical really is just the fact that this cross member stayed where it is. Because I think we've still got that on our car in exactly that position. But
yes.
Everything else, there's quite a lot more, I mean, we're looking at ours as I said, there's quite a lot more going on here than I think we've got in my car.
Very much so. It was, yes, this is heavily modified in comparison with your car. The shifter system as well, of course, is very bespoke. And even the output shaft onto the prop shaft is a universal joint on this car, which was not production at the time.
Okay, so that's this car. I'm very interested to see what you make of our build now. So let's swap over.
Okay.
Right, tell me the good news, the bad news. What do you see?
Okay, so this is a much more productionized transmission in this vehicle.
Yeah, so this is out of a diesel S type.
Diesel S type, the ZF transmission that we used on diesel. Yes, and you can see that there's a slight difference in the rear face of block and the starter motor location. So you've got a small void there.
Yes.
But with fairly small amount of modification, it's clearly gone in, and the benefit is that it bolts straight to the back of the block and connects with the Jaguar mount as well. So all of this is quite important for, not just for MVH, for crash, all these sorts of things. This can survive a lot more stresses than anything that's been welded together.
Okay.
Great for alignment as well.
Okay, so you're saying this is kind of a bit more uniform, so why wouldn't Jag have gone for this setup back in the day?
It's just availability of parts, I would guess. So that car predates this car by quite a lot.
Okay.
And so although the cars were built at the same time, you've had the benefit of time with this car that parts exist which didn't exist when that car was put together, I am guessing.
Okay, so the S-Type diesel kind of, this gearbox basically didn't exist when this was...
That's right, and it's a high torque engine, which is why on the automatic XK, you know, we had a different transmission for the automatic on XKR, as we did Mercedes against the ZF. So if you were going to do it, you'd want a big, strong gearbox, and this is certainly a big, strong gearbox. Yeah.
Okay, so you're fairly happy with our build then?
Looks very neat.
Thank you.
Looks very neat. And just looking at it now, I can't pick anything out that I'd be too critical about, to be honest with you. Maybe fill that hole in there.
Yes.
But outside of that, yeah, it looks quite a neat installation, this.
Okay, so just to explain that further, so that would be the starter motor for the S-Type diesel. They would sit in there.
That's right. So
repositioned.
Yes, yeah. So due to whatever was going on that vehicle, very often starter motor locations. It's a big component. The starter motor. It has to go obviously somewhere on the periphery of the ring gear, and so on the diesel it would have had to have come in that point, but on the V8 petrol it's higher up, as you can see.
Okay, well I'm treating that as a win. You're a Jag man, you've got an E-Type, you've just told me, so if you fancy getting your checkbook out, Swallows are taking orders,
right.
You want your manual X100, give them a shout.
Okay, will do.
Just before I brought the XKR to Jag HQ, I thought it would be a good time to give it a quick fluid refresh, just in case our judge went full send with the mechanical inspection. I threw the keys to Grandmaster Mechanic John at Swallows to get stuck in. First up, an oil and filter change. First goes in some engine flush. The flush circulates to dislodge all the nasty deposits in the depths of the engine. This oil has been circulating during all of the car's dyno runs and our shakedown miles, so it was a good time for some fresh fluid. We went for Liqui-Moly's 5W30 Long Life 3 oil, which is a low friction synthetic oil that boasts excellent engine cleanliness and reduces build-up of nasty deposits. Along with the 5W30, the V8 is protected by their Ceratec additive, which cleverly applies ceramic wear protection, helping reduce friction around all of the moving parts it touches. To make the engine run even better, I asked John to whack in some SpeedTech fuel additive too, which has been engineered to improve throttle response and therefore acceleration. The upgrading and tuning of this 4-litre supercharged V8 has already taken things to a new level, but this witchcraft should optimise things even further. The coolant was then refreshed, making our Jag fit and fighting ready for its next bout of content. Thank you to Liqui-Moly for sponsoring today's video. With Graham's stamp of approval, we then moved on to the scientific side of things. It was time for a Cog Score. Introducing Judge number 2.
Yeah, no, I'm sturdy like a milli rocket. Skin clear, still look young, Andy Miller knockers, money in my pocket. Don't call me a money pocket, engine get to rocket. It sound like a thunder rocket. Yeah.
Jock is our man here to give us a Cog Score. Jock, I can't imagine you've seen one of our videos, but I can give you the lowdown.
Okay.
So there's 5 categories: exterior, interior, mechanicals, sound, and just overall coolness. Now, I don't want to influence your decision too much, so I'm just going to leave you to it. I'll go around and look at some lovely Jags. But if you could cast your expert eye over our car and look for the good things, look for the bad things, say it as it is, and yeah, I'll come back through and we can have a chat and see what the score is. But first impressions on the car?
Impressive. It's nice, yeah. It's a good setup.
Okay, good. Well, I'm expecting some good scores then. I'll disappear off. Good luck with the car and I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Jock is a technician at JLR Classic, and as he began his inspection, it's fair to say he wasn't holding back. First, Jock surveyed the XKR's mechanicals.
2 bottom bolts are missing. Threaded both on the engine side of it, threaded on the bell housing side of it. I'd have probably drilled out the gearbox side of it so you can get a bolt all the way through, just so it matches the rest of them. Cats are nice and tidy and small, perfect for getting the downpipes off. If you come to do a clutch on this, it's very simple to get the downpipes off. Slave cylinder position's quite nice. It's quite easy to undo. Everything looks pretty much okay up here. There's a great deal you can see. Looks like it's had a slightly smaller supercharger pulley fitted, which would obviously increase on power. With it being a used car, you find little extras. Looks like this one's had a bit of a mouse in it. Looks like it's had a bit of a rummage around. Little piece there. Just notice a little bit of sound deadening on this corner here as well.
Leaving Jock to his deliberations, I had a look around one of my favourite buildings in the world. If you are a Jag man, you have to come to the Jaguar Daimler Heritage Trust.
We maybe have the most internet famous XK, but we do not have the most famous XKs in the world. That's probably these 2 cars here. Austin Powers, the Jaguar, and this, what's it? Korean People's Army car from Die Another Day. Rockets, missiles out the front, a minigun out the back. I personally hate the Pierce Brosnan films. I just can't get through them. They're just crap compared to all the Daniel Craig stuff. But what a car this is. I am not a big fan of Austin Powers either. I see people make homages to this car and I think you've ruined your XK. But, you know, it is what it is. Big films.
Next up for Jock was the Jag's exterior.
General condition's pretty good. A little bit of condensation within the headlight. Should be fairly easy to get rid of that. A little bit of trim popping out, but that's the age of the car. Grille's quite nice, like that. Got rid of the bumps sticking out. Nice 20-inch wheels. Never understood why they did that with the valves, but that's something else. That's someone else's decision. Exhaust look nice. Looks like one's different to the other, but looking forward to hearing what it sounds like.
I realise we've done a whole series on the X100 series of XK, but this is actually my favourite XK. This specific one is the concept car. It was called the ALC Concepts because it was their aluminium coupe. I had a picture of this specific car in my home file at school. I got a Pritt stick and put it in place, so every time I opened, see my homework, this car was looking back at me. In my opinion, Ian Callum's greatest design. I think it is a beautiful car, much prettier than our XK. It then went on to become this, the production XK, that one being an R, but I think this, in this colour, this sort of ice blue, was as pretty as it got.
Following the Cog Score script, it was on to the interior.
Nice, well-aged interior. Does actually age quite nicely. I like the dash. I like the way it's started aging quite nicely. A bit different to that though. That doesn't look like wood, looks more like plastic. Obviously gear stick. Got a gear stick instead of a auto stick. Like it. Nicely finished. Sounds quite nice. Nice little bauble to it. Nice, yeah. Quite like that.
Right, Jock, the time has come. You've had a good look over the car. Give me my scores. Let's start with exterior, out of 10.
I'd probably go middle of the mark with it, about 5. It's good condition, there's no rot, can't see any rot. Paintwork, a few defects, bit of trim on the outside. Yeah, I'd probably go middle of the mark, 5.
Okay, yeah, I must say, the more I've lived with a car, the more little things I've picked up on. But okay, tough start, I must say. Moving on to interior.
Interior. See, I quite like the interior, apart from that centre part of the dash.
Oh, you don't like the Japanese bit?
It's more the wood trimming around it.
Yes, it's, yeah.
That bit's, yeah, it's a bit of a downfall for me, that one.
Okay.
Probably go 6 out of 10.
Okay, jot that one down. 6. Okay, next, mechanicals. I feel like we might recover some points on this one.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of work that's gone into what they've done. Mechanically, it's in good condition.
Okay.
So I would probably go 9 out of 10 for that.
Nice. Swallows are going to absolutely love that. Okay, sound.
Sound, again, very nice sound. And I would probably go up the top there. I'll probably go 9 out of 10 for the sound.
Good, here we go. And the Cog Score's coming together now. And then finally, coolness. On that front, it's like, would you want to own the car versus like what you class as the coolest car in the world? Where would you put it?
It would be a nice car to own. There would be some slight changes I would do.
Okay. Like what stuff?
I'd change the paint, trim bits.
Yes, okay.
Change some of them.
I get that.
Probably do a few of the little modifications. Nothing spectacular. Yeah, it'd be something that I would own.
Okay. So out of 10,
out
coolness?
of 10, I'd probably go 8 out of 10.
Okay, I'll jot that down, which means my final Cog Score is 37 out of 50. So if I was at school, I think that's an A. I think that's 70-something%. So I will take that.
Yeah.
I think that puts me on par with Matt Armstrong's E46 M3. Not that this counts properly as a Cog Score, but I'll take that. Thank you, Jock. It's been amazing to have your expertise over this, and really cool to compare this with the proper Jag product over there.
Oh yes, very much so. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, thank you for having us, and yeah, we'll maybe be back with another crazy Jag project down the line.
Be a pleasure to look forward to it.
Today has been super interesting. Seeing this car up on the ramp with Jaguar's own prototype, it's showing just how good a job Swallows did with this car. This build has been so clean, so simplistic compared to what the Jaguar engineers did back in the day. So I'm so proud of this car. The Cog Score, I must admit, I think was a little harsh. 5 out of 10 for the exterior. You know, we'll give Jock the benefit of the doubt. But what would you guys like to see us do with this car next? We've got a few things planned, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I've been Mike, and don't forget to subscribe to DRIVETRIBE.